Hiraku Machio dies from an illness at just 39 years old. After dying, Hiraku meets God, and he realized that he has died. God also implied that he had a cruel life as he was betrayed by others and then fell ill with a terminal disease. God also mentioned that it was a mistake on his part that Hiraku had to live a miserable life like that. He also mentioned that he will grant pretty much any request Hiraku has. So Hiraku requests God to let him have a laid-back life as a farmer. Therefore, God granted his wishes. He also gave Hiraku a healthy body and the almighty farming tool. After that, Hiraku woke up in a new world surrounded by a forest. He became happy after seeing his healthy body. Little did he know, God accidentally placed him inside the forest of death, where dangerous monsters and animals reside. Then, he started using his almighty farming tool. He also realized that no matter how much he uses his farming tool, he never gets tired. Then, he decided to set up a base camp beside the big tree. And he started to dig to find water. He was surprised to learn that his farming tool could cut a big tree in half with just one swing. So he continued clearing the area to cultivate the land. Then, a wild rabbit suddenly charged to attack him, but he effortlessly killed the rabbit with his farming tool. After that, he finally started cultivating the land. But he realized something important, that he doesn't have any seeds. But when he woke up the next morning, he was stunned to see plants growing without seeds. Then, he started building a fence to protect the plants from wild animals. After that, he was also able to build a small hut to live in. Then, one day he came across two dogs. Little did he know, those two were not dogs, but Inferno Wolf, and they are very powerful and dangerous. Since those wolves were in rough shape, he decided to let them in, and also gave them some meat to eat. Then, he realized that one of the wolves was pregnant, so he decided to let them stay in his hut, as he noticed the female will give birth soon. The next morning, he saw little wolf pups. Then the wolves started living with Hiraku, and they would hunt for food, and they also protected the premises for Hiraku. After a long time, God decided to observe Hiraku, but then God realized he had mistakenly sent Hiraku to the forest of death. God thought of calling him back, but refrained from doing that, as it was against the rule. Then, God thought that Hiraku might die again. He also hoped that Hiraku would accept his apology if that happens. Hiraku decided to make statues of the gods. Then, he started eating his lunch. He started wondering about clothes for winter. After that, the wolves brought a large spider with them, so Hiraku was a little bit surprised, but then he found out that the spider could make clothes. By the way, Hiraku also didn't know that the spider was a demon spider, which is one of the most powerful monsters in that forest. Even demon lords struggle against it. Nonetheless, Hiraku decided to let that spider live in the giant tree. He also gave the spider a name, which is Zabuton. During the winter, Hiraku started to feel lonely. Then, winter passed, and Zabuton showed up with her kids. After a while, he came across a little girl who was attacked and cornered by Hiraku's wolves. Then, the girl asked Hiraku to save her from the wolves. But when he was about to put his shirt on the girl, she bit him and sucked his blood. Then she got bigger. But she was again attacked by the wolf, and she got smaller again. Hiraku allows her to suck his blood to recover her strength. So Hiraku shows her the village, and she was surprised to see a place like that in the middle of the forest. Then Hiraku learns that her name is Rurushi, and she is a vampire. She is also known as Vampire Princess. Rurushi also explained why she came to this forest. Well, she got into a fight with some nobles. Then, she also explained to Hiraku why the forest is called the Forest of Death and why it is so dangerous. Even though he had tamed those beasts, he still didn't know anything about the forest. Then, Rurushi asked him whether the tool he was using was a magic tool or not, to which he replied, probably. After that, all of a sudden, Hiraku asked Rurushi to live with him, and Rurushi got a little embarrassed. But in the end, she decided to stay with him. The next morning, he woke up and Rurushi, his future wife, greeted him, so he wasn't lonely anymore. Then Hiraku asked, "Why did you get small again?" To which she replied, "It was for her protection. Hiraku won't think about touching her if she looks like that." If you know, you know. Hiraku realized that having Rurushi helped him in many ways. Then, Rurushi and Hiraku started talking about plants and peaches. After a while, they heard Zabuton's danger signal, and they immediately rushed to the entrance of the village. And we get to see something similar to what happened to Rurushi, but this time with an angel named Tia, who is the leader of angels in that area. Then, Hiraku saved her, and we get to learn that Tia reached Hiraku's place while searching for Rurushi. But as soon as she saw Rurushi, she started shouting things like, "Stop resisting and come with me," which caught the attention of the wolves, and they ended up attacking Tia again. Then, Tia and Rurushi realized that fighting Inferno wolves is a death sentence. Rurushi introduced Hiraku as her husband, which surprised Tia. And Tia introduced herself to Hiraku. Hiraku asked Tia, "Why is an angel like you chasing down Rurushi?" So Tia explained that there is a bounty on her because of all the damage she caused in town. Then Rurushi asked Tia if she wants to live there, and Rurushi tries to convince her to stay by showing her the village. But when she met Zabuton, she faints immediately. Then Rurushi forced Tia to do farm work. Tia tried a couple of vegetables and fruits too. Then Rurushi forced Tia to live with them. She also said that, "My body won't be able to handle everything if I'm alone." Well, if you know, you know. So Tia started living with them. Thus, Hiraku got his second future wife.